Jeremiah, here back with another video, and this is the first part of What If Goku had Ultra Instinct early, or was born with it. Now, this is a actual prequel. I'm going to get into the actual events in part two, but I really do hope you guys enjoy this part, so I won't keep you guys waiting any longer. Without any further ado, let's get into it.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go.
I hate this. The bloodshed I constantly shed, this senseless violence I hear. My people is a disgrace to the universe. The amount of people we murdered, the amount of people we ended. I just want this cycle to end. Growing up on planet Vegeta, I felt nothing. I was born with a high power level. Not so high that I'd be considered a high class, but it was enough. It was enough in their eyes. They ripped me away from my parents. I don't even remember their names. I can't remember the face of my mother. I can't remember the face of my brothers. I don't even know if I had any siblings. I don't even know if my father looked like me. Maybe that's where that is here from. But this worthless, they took me and they put me through these re-education courses. They beat me, constantly forcing me to fight Cyberman. And every single time I will lose. Every single time. They drag my lifeless body to a healing chamber and force me to get a Zenkai and just put me back out there. Even when I was stronger, when the Cyberman attacks hurt less, when their power dwarfed mine, I was still losing because I had no real fighting experience. I could barely even throw a punch. Man, it didn't even feel like education. They were laughing. They were making bets, and I couldn't do anything to stop it. As I grew, my power grew. I even surpassed the might of King Vegeta himself, but nothing changed. One time I did attempt to challenge him, and I won, but power isn't everything in our society. It also comes with loyalty. One of King Vegeta's right-hand man. He's stronger than the king himself, but what makes him different from me is loyalty. He's loyal to the Vegeta bloodline. And even if I did want to make a real change in the system, he's my obstacle. And it just left me beat again. And of course, I did gain another Zenkai, but it was still pointless. And I never tried to rebel again. Well, until recently. I met this young kid. He reminded me so much of my kid as I wiped out every man, woman, and child on their planet. But when I saw his mother holding him in his arms, when I looked at her, I couldn't do anything. I heard my partner cry out, "Hey, brother, you good over there?" As he says, "Yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. There's nothing here." As I saw the face of the woman, as she looked confused, as the sun began to rise, and I de-transformed. As I looked at them, I don't know what came over me that day. I don't know why I decided to save them, but for whatever reason, I did. I didn't want my legacy to end in blood. As the rest of my partners and the rest of my group left the planet, I decided to stay here, and I decided to help them help, even though just a little bit. As she begins to say thank you, and she asked me, why are you helping me? And the only thing I could tell her, I suppose I'm sick and tired of the bloodshed. But just as I was about to leave, she did something different. She hugged me as I was confused, as I didn't have much intimate connections except from Gine, and I was a bit confused. I told her, "Hey, mommy, I'm married. You have to get off me." As she looked at me with a hint of confusion, as she began to laugh, and she asked me, "Do you really not perceive hugs that much? I mean, not necessarily. This is only between a husband and his wife. Wait, do Saiyans not hug each other?" "No." As she began to burst out laughing, as my scouter would pick up a power level, as I began hearing voices in the distance. As I grab her and I began to hide, "Shh, just stay calm. There's someone here." As I began to notice who exactly it was, and it was a group of the heaters. The group of the heater. It was Elect, the eldest sibling, and the leader of the group. There was Gas, the youngest, but even I could tell he's the most powerful of that entire group. There's Oil, another brother, but he's not that strong, not that powerful whatsoever. So I don't have to necessarily worry about him much. And the last one was Malek, and she seems to be she seems to be the smartest of the group. But when it comes to power wise, even Gine, at her power level is 4,000, and even she's notably a high class warrior, and our system can wipe her out. So they're not much a problem. But the youngest brother, Gas, he's different. I could sense almost a intimidating present coming off him, but I can't think too much on that because the younger one, Granola, he begins to wake up and he begins screaming out, as saying, and I can't even blame the kid. We murdered his entire family, so I can't even blame him. So I had to knock him out really fast as I began to take his mother and the young kid away, and I began to run as she knew someone who could help. An older Namekian. His name was Maninos, and we quickly ran to his place. Well, thankfully we got there in time, but they follow us, and his mother ended up dying. Her last words to me was to please protect her kid, and I didn't want her to die. I wanted to save someone, and her blood was soaked in one of my bandanas, and I vowed I'm going to make her pay. I won't let her life be in pain like this. I won't let it be worthless. As I thought back to my own family, to my children, Kakarot, Radis, and my wife, Gine, and new determination took me, and I rushed directly at the heaters, sending all of them flying back. Of course, the only one who wouldn't budge was Gas, and right there, our battle began. Now, we were nearly equal in power and in technique, but the way he used his ki, the way he used his powers, it was odd. He could make weapons appear out of nowhere. He can create solid blocks of mass at a level of technique I have never was encountered before, and that was fact. It was weird. He even managed to cut off my tail, but for some reason that just made me stronger as my Nana was in the background healing me of my injuries, and I was able to receive a small Zenkai boost. It wasn't a lot, but it was enough to push me over Gas. And as I thought I finally had it in the bag, as I was flipping around him, maneuvering him, this weird necklace thing fell off of Gas because the leg shot him with some weird gun. To this day, I'll never understand how those weapons are so powerful against people like us, but he begun to grow in size, something like the Ozaru, and he had a huge power boost, and he began beating me senseless, but I refused to give up. I refused to let my Nano or this kid die. So I got up and stood my ground, and I gritted my teeth. As my Nano asked me something weird, he asked me something odd. He told me, hey, I can make a wish for you. I can give you the boost needed to kill Gas to end this. As I refused. But then he asked me, so is there anything else you'll wish for? If there's something I would want to wish for, it's that preferably I wish that my sons will grow up thriving, to grow up healthy, and if they're ever separated, I wish for one day for them to reunite. In the end, I suppose I wish my sons to grow up well and to always thrive. As the sky was dark for whatever reason, as I was a bit confused at that, but I was too focused on the fight to really give it much mind. Again, it cleared up, and I don't know how exactly, but a rush of power came over me, and I was able to defeat Gas, as I thought Alec was going to come and try to finish me off in my weakened state, but he's told me something a bit odd at the time. I didn't know what it was. He told me, that's not really any reason for me to get my hands dirty. Frieza is going to finish you off at any time now. And I was a bit shocked. No, I knew Frieza hated us, but I didn't think he would do something like this. Do he really despise us this much that he's willing to wipe out a massive part of his army, millions of high-level soldiers? It can't be, right? As this thought was constantly going around in my mind. It was constantly, I was in fear, something I rarely felt before, as I was furious because I couldn't do anything. As years go by, and Frieza gave this weird order for the Saiyans to all reconvene on planet Vegeta, and I knew exactly what was going on. I refused to just sit here and die, but I'm going to make sure my sons live. Thankfully, Raditz, having a really high power level, was able to go somewhere, and he's even in the same squadron as Prince Vegeta, King Vegeta child. So at least I'm thankful for that. But my youngest one, Kakarot, having only a power level of 2, I knew I couldn't do much for him right now. But right now, I just want him to live. I don't want my legacy to end in bloodshed, and I don't want my family to die like this. So I spoke to Gine, and I told him we were going to grab a pie and we're going to send Kakarot away. And she began to cry and says, no, like, let me go with him. Maybe we can help. But he was saying, no, your power level is way too high. You're going to be picked up by scouters. Sending Kakarot alone is the only way we can save him. It's the only way we can make sure he can live. But what about Raditz? Raditz is fine. Nor Prince Vegeta. He's not going to come back. So we don't have to worry about him much for now. But I just want to help him. This is all we can do. As she began to cry as I placed Kakarot in a pod, and I set up coordinates for him to this little unknown planet far away from even the Galactic Patrol and the Frieza Force. It won't even be picked up on Frieza radar. And thankfully, Kakarot power level is so low that he shouldn't be picked up by any sort of scouters whatsoever. As we send him off, as Hine is left heartbroken at the loss of both of her children, knowing she might not ever see them again after this. But if it was up to me, it is, and I won't let it end this way. I flew up into the stratosphere of planet Vegeta, gazing upon the full moon, transforming as I wiped out hundreds of Frieza men. I wiped out nearly all of them. But as I had a little bit of hope of winning, Frieza himself came out, me not having that power anywhere near him as he could escort me. And for the first time in years, I felt nothing but fear. As a huge supernova reminiscent of the sun became crashing down at me. Frieza not caring for the remaining of his soldiers, his day was wiped out that day too. And all I heard was a laugh, just pure laughter of evil as he's laughing as me and all of my people get wiped out. But maybe this is what we deserve. Maybe this is karma for the sins we committed. Maybe this is how the Saiyan race is always meant to end. But if it was destined by the universe itself, I saw a vision of not only my sons, but Prince Vegeta himself. They're fighting somewhere, a tournament, and they're fighting alongside Frieza, and that made my blood boil. But I saw something else. Frieza having this weird transformation, being black, and my sons having something else as this weird white hair form is covering Kakarot. Vegeta having this purple energy, and Raditz having something odd. He doesn't know what it is, but he feels pride in the Saiyan race as he thinks maybe the Saiyan race survived. Maybe we can redeem ourselves as he sees Kakarot delivering the final blow to Frieza. As he begins to smile as he knows that this isn't how the Saiyan race ends, and he knows that someday his children will rise and they will end the reign that Frieza had across the universe. Yo, I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video. This series is going to most likely going to turn out to be one of my personal favorites, and I really do hope you guys enjoyed it. So I won't keep you guys here any longer. I hope y'all have a good day, and thank y'all for taking the time to watch my video. Peace out.